dimensional perspective, into like a Mandela effect that takes us to a universe where things are better, okay? We don't want to agree unconsciously to go into a universe where Agenda 21 happens, okay? Like SimCity is a perfect example of it, because they have those tall, I forgot what they're called, but they're those tall buildings that are basically cities in one building, and they're like, you know, a mile high. They're like, but they have everything that entire city needs within it. And there are many, you know, fictional futures that show that kind of thing as being the human way that we'll all live. And that's not, we don't need to live like that, okay? There are ways to have technology and to have all your toys, you know, with the least amount of impact. And like I said, Earth ships, they are perfect, okay? You can have solar power, you can have wind power. Wind power is the only truly clean power. Solar power is next. And, you know, it can get, depending on where you live, wind or solar might be better. Here, I can use both. But, like, that is enough power to run a house. One little windmill can run a house, okay, a small one. And houses are always separated far enough from each other to avoid any problems with birds or messing with the wind or anything like that, okay? If it's on your house, it's a safe way to do it. And it will provide all your energy needs. If you live in a house that's built like an Earth ship where the walls are thick, you will have the heat you need. You'll have the cool you need. You'll have all that you need, okay? Like I said, there are plants that act as perfect septic systems that work with these things. There are food-bearing plants that you can grow in your house and around your house. These are small things that we can do. If everybody had someone nearby who sold like eggs, who raised chickens and sold eggs, there wouldn't be a problem when a pandemic happened and you ran out of them. You know what I mean? You could go to your neighbor and get some eggs, all right? And yeah, I mean, as far as toilet paper, I would say we should all switch to bidets, because long term, better for the environment, and it's never going to run out if you have it built onto your toilet. They're like $40, you know? They're $40 to add onto your toilet. That's all. There are so many things we can do. Look, just sitting in our houses for 3 months healed the ozone layer. Do you know what a big deal that was when I was growing up? The ozone layer, it was huge. That's the only reason people stopped tanning at all. And I used to get it for being pale all the time. Like, it may be popular online to be pale somewhere places, but it's not really popular to be pale most of the time. People just see you as like a ghost or a dead fish, or, oh, you're reflecting light and stuff. It's not, like, cool to be pale. It just happens to be what it is. And, like, you know, thank God the ozone layer's healed. Thank God we're so much more awake, you know. But, like, we don't have to let ourselves be herded like animals into cities just to live on top of each other just to keep the environment going. We can actually take steps privately and personally to do that, you know, without causing any harm to anyone. We can do all these things. We can do this just by taking simple steps, by putting solar panels or windmills on every home and on every retail business. You know how much energy would be saved? But here's the thing. That would put electric companies out of business, and they don't want that. Obviously, the only solution they want to sustainability is one that will keep corporations in power, and that's the one you don't want. Now, I'm going to do some readings, maybe talk some timelines or something. He's going to play Might Make Mine Freedom, it looks like. That's cool. All right. Now let's see. 2020. 2020 has been a hard year, so let's see if it's going to get better. It's been crazy, so it's going to have to be open to things being crazy. So let's do some readings. All right. What's coming up in July? What is coming up next? Is there any bad shit coming up next? And if there, just let's start with that. Is there bad stuff coming up next? All right. Here we go. So a lot of us are in a safe space. We're being kept safe and protected. Okay? As I said, if you're a person who meditates, if you're a person who does any kind of visualization, magic, energy work, especially if you're into Reiki.
In 1937,
and
an isolated...
Who's into Reiki, you're gonna you're gonna be in a much better position. Somebody's gonna be looking after you. If you have angels, you're being looked after. Okay. Right. So let's see what the rest of it says. Okay, so there's a lot of energy, obviously, involved in all these protests and stuff. This is the wands. Just there's a lot of energy pent up in the earth, in our unconscious. You know, this racial stuff has been stuff that's been going on forever. And so, you know, this is what they're talking about. All right, major change, death. Now, what happened? Probably with George Floyd, I would bet, but maybe even with the COVID, it ended something unwillingly, okay? Our way of life is probably over, and I'm sorry to say it. I started talking about this on Blog Talk when I started talking about the wall. This all started with the wall. The wall was never to keep Mexican people out or like Middle Eastern people posing as Mexican people out or the Salvadoran people out. It was to keep us in. That's all it was ever meant to do, was to isolate us and to separate us more from the world. Our media is totally taken over. This is all stuff that I was shown. Hey dude, I'm so glad you're here. I'm just doing a reading on what's gonna happen in the next little while here. Okay. So yeah, what's happened recently, either with COVID or with these protests, but we have reached a turning point in this country. It's not going back to the way it was. All right. There's a lot of stresses to come. There's still more. There's work to do with protests, with trying to change things. Okay, and that's going to be going at least for a month and a half. It's the thing. And the moon. Here's where we come, and probably I feel late July, August. The moon is usually a lie, an illusion. Okay, usually that means you have hidden enemies, and this is probably true of the whole planet and of us specifically. I hope there's whatever comes after that. It might seem like a solution, but it's a lie, and it's a hit, and there's hidden enemies behind it. Right. Luck is turning though, because we have been held in a very bad position. So it will get better. The High Priestess, because the goddess is guiding us through it, and that's the environment. This is what I'm afraid of, this horrible death, but it's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is we're going to just realize it was all an illusion and leave it all behind. Okay, but how that's going to manifest, I don't know. I'm going to do another reading. Let's do another reading, see how that's going to manifest. Okay, let's actually ask, who are the hidden enemies? Who are the hidden enemies? Who are the hidden enemies? We're talking about people like Bill Gates, or like Trump, or like people behind the scenes that I don't know of. Who are our hidden enemies? All right. Now, let's see. Okay, hold on a minute there. It got knocked. Sorry. All right. Let's see. Another reading. Because there is everything that's happening. I'm sure it's them trying to implement what I just showed you, Agenda 21. They have to create massive changes in the world for us to even be willing to be open to these kinds of things. So That's what they do. Stress and hermit, being alone. So that's the general environment that a lot of us are in. Look into the goddess, the Empress. Queen of Cups is another version of her. If you've ever been into Thelema, the whole cup and Babylon thing is a big thing. There's someone coming. There's someone coming that's going to help us. And I don't know who it is. It's somebody from off this, to someone seemingly small, but empowered somehow. And I don't know who, but I feel like a knight, a hero coming, and things are going to be restored somehow. Okay. So that will happen at some point. That could be talking about when Jesus comes or something. But it's not going to be a human being like Trump, okay? Whoever it is, it's not going to be someone like that. It's going to be someone more innocent, someone who's truly not part of that kind of stuff. Okay. Yeah, and for right now, it's like we can't see. They won't show me right now what our enemies are, but I really think it's all these people. There's just hidden enemies everywhere right now for the earth. As far as the earths go, I've said before that we have what lower dimensional beings are stuck within a higher dimensional plane, and we perceive them as shadows to some degree. There's also an AI that's like the shadows too, but basically whatever it is, it's infected our world, and it's going to be washed away. So that might be what they're talking about, because those things actually influence a lot of people and a lot of things. DJ, what time is it?
About 10 till 5.
Okay. All right. Now, let's see. What is the next crazy thing to happen? Let's see if it'll tell me. Because that one was just you were bound, the whole world is just tied up, unable to know what's going on. We just need to let whatever, the light, God help us. So what's the next crazy thing that's going to happen? What's the next crazy thing that's going to happen? Here we go. All right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, people are just going to be separated from people that they love, and I don't know how that's going to happen, but it looks like people are going to be, separated from who they love, unable to move, unable to do things that they want to do. So that it seems like it might be like martial law, kind of bigger lockdown than COVID that is coming, because it seems like people are being separated from certain family members. That's what I'm seeing. It's possible that people are taking older people out of the houses. I hope not. I don't know. But it seems like that's what I'm seeing, okay? So I don't know when that's going to happen, but all right. Can we get a timetable? Can we get a timetable here? Because it's just the whole world is during these retrogrades, and we're about to go Mercury retrograde too. I don't mind Mercury retrograde, but with it on top of Venus and Saturn and Jupiter, it's a lot, All right. So Christmas, things are going to start, I feel like things are going to start turning when winter solstice comes around. There'll be a rebirth, a solar. I'm seeing a lot of Jesus symbols. I'm seeing a lot of the rider on a horse, like Christ, but also the Kalki avatar. If you're at all into Hinduism, the Kalki avatar is identical to Christ from Revelation. So I'm seeing a lot of horse riders. I'm seeing the sun here, the newborn baby sun. I'm seeing a rebirth, a Christ consciousness rebirth that's happening probably underneath of us, but something when that happens to a greater degree, something will happen that will